All right, guys, it's Sharkbait here. I'm sorry if this video seems a little confusing or I struggle with it. I first kind of voice video I'm doing here. I wanted to explain why training camps have been so important for me. The whole premise of this game is based around your heroes, to do events, to do Titans, to do everything you need your heroes. So getting them leveled was my first focus, to constantly generate feeders the best and most efficient way I could. The first thing I would recommend to everybody is TC11. This extra low cost here is great when you're not making something specifically. Typically, you use this train common heroes, common and uncommon heroes, common heroes quick. At first, you'll use the low cost common uncommon here until you research TC11, and then you can use the extra low cost. I've always used those low costs to store recruits like I'm doing here. I'm quite low at the moment. That helps a lot. I always have one TC11 holding those recruits. So one TC11 is always holding those. And if I'm not building anything, as you can see, I'm running 4 TC11s. And what that does for me is each one's going to generate 12 feeders every 24 hours, and that's 48 total. So with your summon gate, that's 50 heroes a day without spending any mats, and you can build up your recruits pretty easily while letting these just kind of tick out. These 4 camps is also why it's so important to get to Stronghold 20. It helps so much, and it's so important to constantly be feeding your heroes. It's so important in growth and in performance and anything else you want to do. Your heroes got to be strong. So I run this build because, like some, I have spent a little money, yes. I'm not going after 5 stars right now, so obviously I'm not running a TC20. I very well could. I am Stronghold 20. I just don't need to roll for the summon pool right now, so feeding my heroes is more important to me. And this is what I run, is 1 at 19, there's 2 at 11, and 1 at 13. When I'm not feeding and I start to get an excess of food, I will actually store food in this in TC13's training. I think it's 275k food to do TC13, which is this way. So you can store 265k food in 70 recruits, and obviously you'll have a bunch of these mats. Everybody does. So you can store a lot more food per recruit with TC13. So if you're not doing anything with your food, it's a good way to store it up so you don't just stay capped. And then when you go to, say, train a hero and you use up all your backpacks on commons, you use up all your swords, you're training a bunch of people, and you're really, really going hard, then that is going to be really helpful, because then you can back these out to get your food back and go put swords or backpacks in somewhere else and pull the food and use all that food to continue eating up all the feeders that you've made when you produce a bunch. So you'll make a bunch of them, use what food you have. When you go to 0, you'll come to your training camp 13. You'll back a few of those out till you cap your food. Then you'll come over here, you use one of your other 2, which will be running either commons over here and, say, common uncommon over here, just for example. And you would put more in those queues, and then your food would be maxed. You put more into the training, and now you can keep feeding whatever hero it is you're feeding. So in my downtime, I make a minimum of 50 heroes a day with Summon Gate, doing all 4 of these running TC11. Costs no mats and is very effective, honestly, when you're not making these first 4 up here, the common, uncommon, train common heroes quickly. Those are the most commonly used. You don't really want to use the nature specific, and I researched one to show you. It uses up both mats. You don't want to do that, and it also costs a ton of food. It's not very effective. Yes, it would help you if you're trying to train element for element, but you're going to use twice the mats, and I think they're better spent elsewhere rather than color specific. And these do use, like I said, a bit more food, and it's using double mats, so I definitely don't recommend it, and the build time's quite long on most of these too. So you're going to use 1, 2, 3, and 4, and then you will use 11, and you will use 13, and obviously you will use 19, which is over here. You will use 19, which will make the common heroes extremely quickly. It will make a common hero every 1 minute. It's a little expensive on food, but it's a great way to get rid of the cloths, which are these. These cloths right here is what you'll use to make those commons, and everybody has a lot of them by the time they get to Stronghold 20. So TC19 is super important as well, but you don't want to use the elementals. I can't stress that. It uses both your mats, and you definitely don't want that. So yeah, that's kind of basic training camp setup that I've got here. I will use TC19 to kick out single commons, and these 2 over here will usually be running the backpacks. And I'll build those up over a couple days while I'm preparing to level somebody or ascend someone and then feed them. So I'll have a bunch of them waiting. And that's pretty much it. Now, if you do need 5 stars, first off, obviously you want Stronghold 20. That's 4 training camps. Typically, if you're hunting for 5 stars and you do need better heroes, you want to run 2 TC20s or 3. And you want to have those going all the time. That will definitely help you get some more heroes in your bench. If you are, Stronghold 20 should be a definite goal for you. If you are feeding constantly like this, I will tell you right now, you will need maxed farms. Wherever you're at, you're going to need maxed farms. If you're going to feed this heavy, you definitely will need the food. I am always broke, as you can see. Even now, I'm on TC11 and I still don't have food. So that's very important too. Try and keep your farms with your stronghold level. And that's it. Between the 2 different ways to use these 4 training camps is either TC20 heavy, and you use 1 to do all your other training. So you'll only be using 1 or 2 training camps to use your swords and backpacks. And then, my method is just for super fast feeding, because I'm splitting up over 4 training camps. So say I want to train uncommons and use backpacks, I will have 3 camps generating backpack, uncommon, common heroes. So it goes out much faster. Definitely something to think about as you guys go through. Training your heroes is important. You definitely want to be as efficient as possible with it. Recruits. Farming recruits, I want to touch on this. I almost forgot. Recruits are super important. You definitely want to farm recruits. The best recruits per energy is going to be this stage here. Stage 7 in Province 8. This is your best recruits per flag usage out of anywhere, Season 1 or Season 2. I know it's a drag. You'll have to farm it a lot if you want to be efficient on recruits. It's definitely helpful. So, yeah, 8-7, definitely a great level for recruits. If you want to farm backpacks, I have personally found that season 1 hard mode, right here, so there's the different modes. Hard mode is 10 energy, and you will get anywhere between obviously 1 backpack to 6 backpacks. I mean, you get an insane amount of materials, to the point to where if I can spend 30 energy on average when I do these, I'll use 3 loot tickets on them. Because obviously you don't want to go through and farm a hard mode. It's you got to pay attention, and it takes a while, so it's not very efficient. But definitely, if you have loot tickets, this is the way to go. Out of 30 energy or 3 of these hard modes, I will get anywhere between 8 to 17 backpacks. 17 was very rare, but it was usually around 10 to 12 was normal. So that's a backpack per energy or more. You also get swords and cloths too, so it's a super, super great way to farm those ascension mats, or ascension mats that you need for the feeders. So season 1 hard mode, stage 1, and 8-7 in season 1 are super important for farming your ascension mats and farming your recruits for stage 7 here. So those are really efficient ways to help your training camps keep going, keeping the materials you need to keep making the feeders, and how to keep your food up to do all this, because it is very food intensive to constantly be kicking out feeders like this. So I hope that helps you guys. Sorry if the video's a bit unorganized. I didn't really prepare too much to record this, but I wanted to explain this to you guys. See if it helps you out. If you guys have anything to comment, please leave a comment in the video. Let me know how I can make this better for you guys, or if you have questions, ask, and I will be happy to answer them. All right, guys. Thanks for watching.